3 days later, when the hegemony reinforcements arrived, they found something unexpected: a combined fleet of human ships and captured hegemony vessels waiting for them. Rather than fight, the newcomers opened communications. "The High Command wishes to discuss terms," the hegemony commander stated carefully. "This situation is unprecedented." Jack, now on the bridge of Zoltan's former flagship, exchanged looks with Lisa and Allison. "Tell them we're open to discussion," he replied. "But Earth remains free. That's not negotiable." 1 month later, representatives from a dozen formerly oppressed worlds arrived on Earth. They had heard about the planet that had defeated the mighty hegemony and wanted to form an alliance. "They called us primitives," Jack told the gathered delegates. "But we showed the galaxy something important. Tyranny creates the seeds of its own destruction. Together, we can build something better." As the new alliance took shape, humans began to look beyond their solar system. The stars no longer represented a threat, but a future. The Empire's biggest mistake hadn't just freed Earth, it had changed the galaxy forever. Admiral Zoltan stood before the massive viewscreen on his command ship. His fleet surrounded Europa, with the planet destroyer nearly complete on the moon's surface. Soon Earth would pay for its resistance. "Sir, the reinforcements will arrive in 3 days," his lieutenant reported. Zoltan nodded with satisfaction. "And our weapon? Final testing begins tomorrow. It will be ready to deploy in 1 week." Alarms suddenly blared across the command deck. Multiple FTL signatures detected. An officer shouted, They're human ships." Zoltan's 4 fists clenched in rage. Impossible. Near Jupiter, 12 human ships dropped out of FTL travel. Each carried weapons modified from hegemony technology, and crews determined to save their planet. The Defiance led the formation, with Lisa at the controls. "All ships report ready," she announced over the comm system. "Enemy fleet detected around Europa." Jack Russell's voice responded from the second ship. "Remember the plan. First wave targets their command ships. Second wave goes for the weapon on the surface." "Beginning attack run," Lisa replied. "Good luck, everyone." The human fleet accelerated toward Europa. Hegemony sensors detected them, but confusion delayed their response. They still couldn't believe humans had mastered FTL travel so quickly. "Launch all fighters," Zoltan ordered when he recovered from his shock. "Destroy those ships." The space around Europa erupted in battle. Human ships fired their Van Allen weapons, disabling hegemony vessels with targeted radiation. The aliens returned fire, their energy weapons slicing through space. 2 human ships exploded under the barrage, but the remaining vessels pressed forward, their pilots executing maneuvers the hegemony had never seen before. "They're too unpredictable," a hegemony commander complained. "Their attack patterns make no sense." "Because they're not following standard tactics," Zoltan realized too late. "They're improvising." Jack's ship took heavy damage, but continued toward the command vessel. "Eric now," he ordered. Eric Freeman, seated at a console behind Jack, activated his newest virus. It spread through the communication channels between hegemony ships, causing half their fleet to target their own vessels. "What's happening?" Zoltan demanded as his ship rocked from an impact. "Why are our cruisers firing on us?" "Our systems are compromised," his lieutenant replied in panic. "We've lost control of the automated defenses." On the surface of Europa, Kate led a strike team toward the planet destroyer. Her shuttle had slipped through the chaos of the space battle, landing near the massive weapon. "Plant the charges at the power core," she ordered her team. "We have 10 minutes to get clear." Hegemony guards discovered them, and a fierce firefight erupted in the facility. Kate took a wound to her leg, but continued placing explosives while her team provided cover. "Charges set," she reported. "Everyone back to the shuttle." In orbit, Lisa maneuvered the Defiance directly toward Zoltan's command ship. Preparing for boarding action, she told her crew. "Target their docking bay." The Defiance crashed through the shields of the command ship, its reinforced hull breaking into the docking area. Jack led the boarding party, Electromagnetic disruptors ready. Find Zoltan, he ordered. End this once and for all. They fought their way to the command deck. Alien bodies fell before the determined humans. When they reached the bridge, Zoltan stood waiting, weapon in hand. You primitives, he snarled. You cannot defeat the hegemony. We span thousands of worlds. Maybe, Jack replied, but you made one big mistake. You thought Earth couldn't fight back. Their battle was brief but violent. Zoltan's 4 arms gave him an advantage in close combat, but Jack had faced too much to be stopped now. His disruptor caught the Admiral in the chest, sending the alien commander crashing to the deck. On Europa, Kate's team escaped just as the charges detonated. The planet destroyer collapsed in on itself, its power core creating a crater in the moon's surface. Weapon destroyed, Kate reported. Heading home. Jack secured the command ship as hegemony forces surrendered across the battlefield. Without Zoltan and with their systems compromised, their will to fight evaporated. 1 month after driving the hegemony from Earth's orbit, humans worked day and night to prepare for what would come next. In underground factories, engineers combined human ingenuity with alien technology. The result was something new, spacecraft that could travel faster than light. Jack Russell stood in the massive hangar beneath the Rocky Mountains. Before him sat 3 ships unlike anything humans had built before. They had Earth metal for hulls, but hegemony engines and weapons. Will they work? He asked Sam, who was checking final systems on the lead ship. They'll work, Sam said confidently. We reversed every bit of their technology. The hard part was making controls humans could use. Allison joined them, carrying data tablets. The bioweapon scans are complete, she said. We found something interesting. She showed them her findings. The hegemony had plans to release a virus tailored to human DNA. But our tests show humans have natural resistance. Something in our immune system fights it off. Can we use that somehow? Jack asked. As a weapon? No. Allison shook her head. But it means they don't understand our biology as well as they think. They're still underestimating us. Lisa Vaughn climbed down from the lead ship's cockpit. After her success in the battle for Earth, she had been chosen to captain the first FTL mission. She's ready, Lisa said, patting the ship's hull. We've named her to Defiance. Jack nodded in approval. Your mission is reconnaissance only. Get to Europa, observe their base and return. No engagement unless absolutely necessary. Lisa grinned. You take the fun out of everything. In orbit around Jupiter's moon Europa, the hegemony had established their closest base to Earth. It was here that Admiral Zoltan had retreated to lick his wounds and prepare a counterattack. He didn't expect humans to follow him. The primitives have retaken their planet, he told his officers. But they cannot leave their system. Our reinforcements will arrive in 2 weeks. Then we will crush them properly. His lieutenant approached nervously. Admiral, our long-range sensors detect an unusual energy signature approaching. What kind of signature? Zoltan demanded. It appears to be one of our own FTL drives, but the configuration is wrong. Zoltan's eyes widened in disbelief. Impossible. The Defiance dropped out of FTL speed near Europa's orbit. Lisa kept the ship in the shadow of one of Jupiter's smaller moons, using its mass to hide their presence. We're in position, she told her crew of 8. Activate the scanning equipment. Multiple hegemony ships detected, reported her navigator. At least 30 vessels, and something big under construction on Europa's surface. They recorded everything. Fleet positions, defenses, communication patterns. Then, as they prepared to leave, disaster struck. We've been spotted, the navigator warned. 3 patrol ships approaching. Lisa made a quick decision. We can't outrun them from a standing start. Prepare the Van Allen weapon. The patrol never expected the human ship to fight. The first blast caught them completely by surprise, disabling one instantly. The second patrol ship managed to fire, grazing the Defiance before a return shot silenced it. The third turned to flee. "Should we pursue?" asked the weapons officer. "No," Lisa said firmly. "We have what we came for. Set course for Earth." The Defiance jumped to FTL, leaving chaos behind. For the first time in hegemony history, humans had attacked them beyond Earth. Back on Earth, the data from Lisa's mission revealed troubling news. The hegemony was building a massive weapon on Europa, a planet destroyer capable of turning Earth's surface to molten rock from a safe distance. "We have 2 weeks before their reinforcements arrive," Jack told the gathered resistance leaders. "And 3 weeks before that weapon is operational. Then we need to hit them first," Kate said. "A preemptive strike." Eric studied the Europa base schematics. "Their security has improved since our virus. I can't hack them remotely anymore." "Then we go in person," Jack decided. "Not just a reconnaissance mission this time. A full assault." Around the table, the humans who had survived months of alien occupation looked at each other. What Jack proposed was audacious, attacking an enemy stronghold in their own territory. "We'll need more ships," Sam said finally. "At least 10. And better weapons," Allison added. "And pilots," Lisa reminded them. Jack looked at each of them. "Then we better get started. We've pushed them from Earth. Now we show the hegemony that humans can take the fight anywhere." Word spread through the resistance. Volunteers came forward. Pilots, engineers, soldiers. Humanity was no longer just defending its home. It was taking the war to the stars. The sky over what remained of Chicago filled with strange lights. Humans and aliens alike paused to watch the display. The Van Allen collectors had worked. Earth's natural radiation belts, previously just a scientific curiosity, had become a weapon. Lisa Vaughn piloted the lead fighter. Her squadron consisted of 20 captured alien ships, modified by human engineers. Behind her flew Commander Chen's Mars vessels. Together, they formed humanity's first space fleet. "All pilots report ready," Lisa said into her radio. "Radiation levels are stable in the containment fields." In a bunker below, Allison monitored the energy readings. "The collectors absorbed more than we expected. One shot should disable a cruiser-class ship." Jack Russell stood at the main tactical display. The Resistance had established a command center in the ruins of a skyscraper. Maps showed hegemony positions around the planet and in orbit. "Remember the plan," he told the gathered leaders. "Space forces target their communication ships first. Ground teams hit their power stations when their defenses fail." Eric Freeman had joined them in person. His fingers moved across multiple keyboards, coordinating the cyber attack that would accompany the assault. "Virus 2.0 is ready," he said. "This one won't just blind them. It'll turn their automated defenses against each other." Kate entered the room with the latest intelligence. "Zoltan has moved his flagship to high orbit. He's calling in reinforcements from the nearby solar systems." Jack nodded grimly. "Then we move now. All units, commence Operation Pushback." Lisa led her squadron toward the first target, a hegemony communications relay. The alien ships didn't fire at first, confused by the approaching vessels that registered as their own. "We're in range," she reported, firing Van Allen weapons. Beams of collected radiation lanced from the human-controlled ships. When they struck the hegemony vessels, the effect was immediate. Systems failed. Engines died. Some ships simply drifted, powerless. "Direct hits on all primary targets," Lisa announced, moving to secondary targets. On Earth, resistance fighters emerged from hiding. They attacked hegemony bases with a combination of captured alien weapons and Sam's latest electromagnetic disruptors. The aliens, cut off from orbital support, found themselves surrounded by humans who knew the terrain and fought with desperate courage. In New Mexico, Sam led a team against a major hegemony processing center. The aliens had been converting Earth metals into ship components. Now those materials would serve humanity instead. "Plant the charges on the support columns," Sam ordered. "We want to disable, not destroy. We'll need this facility." High above, Admiral Zoltan watched in disbelief as his fleet came apart. His ships were either disabled by the strange radiation weapons or turned against each other by the human virus. How? He demanded of his officers. How are they doing this? No one could answer. The hegemony had conquered 1,000 worlds and never encountered resistance like this. A blast rocked Zoltan's flagship. Commander Chen's ships had broken through the defensive perimeter. "Admiral," his lieutenant reported, "3 of our destroyer-class vessels are targeting us. The humans have somehow overridden their control systems." Zoltan smashed his fist into a control panel. "Retreat to Luna Base. We will regroup and return with the full might of the hegemony fleet." As the flagship fled, Lisa's squadron pursued. "Should we follow them to the moon?" she asked command. Jack considered the situation. They had won a major victory, but their resources were limited. "No. Secure Earth orbit first. We need to consolidate what we've taken." Around the planet, hegemony forces were in retreat. Some fought to the end. Others surrendered, shocked by the reversal of fortune. By nightfall, humans controlled most major cities again. In the command center, the resistance leaders gathered to assess their victory. "We've pushed them back," Kate said, "but Zoltan escaped with some of his ships. He'll return with reinforcements." Admiral Zoltan paced the command deck of his flagship. His 4 arms were clenched in rage. Screens around him showed humans taking back cities and bases across Earth. His communications remained scrambled by the human virus. "Enough of this," he hissed to his officers. "Prepare the planet killers. We will make examples of their resistance strongholds." "But sir," his lieutenant protested, "those weapons will contaminate large areas. The High Command wants Earth's resources intact." Zoltan struck the lieutenant across the face. "The High Command is not here. I will not be defeated by primitives." On Earth, Jack Russell sat in an emergency meeting with resistance leaders. His arm was bandaged from the space station mission. Their victory had given them hope, but intelligence reports were troubling. "Our spies in their main base intercepted orders," Kate said, pointing to a map. "Zoltan is preparing to use weapons that can destroy entire regions. Our virus bought us time, but their technicians will eventually remove it." "We need something bigger than disruptors," Jack said. "Allison, what do you have?" Allison Grant's face appeared on a screen. She looked tired but excited. "I've been studying their ship designs. Their engines emit a specific radiation. Interestingly, that radiation is similar to what's found in Earth's Van Allen belts." "The radiation belts around Earth?" Jack asked. "What about them?" "Their ships are shielded against most threats, but not against their own radiation. If we could collect and focus that energy." Sam Winters interrupted. "We'd have a weapon that could penetrate their defenses." "Exactly," Allison said. "But we'd need access to the Van Allen belts to collect enough energy." The room fell silent. No one had the technology to reach that high into space. Then a new voice joined the conversation. "We might be able to help with that." The screen split to show a woman in a dust-covered spacesuit. Behind her was a base with the Mars Colony logo. "Commander Chen," Jack said in disbelief, "we thought the Mars Colony was destroyed in the first wave." "They hit our communications array," Commander Chen explained. "But most of our underground facilities survived. We've been building weapons since the invasion began, and we have ships that can reach the radiation belts." Hope spread through the room. For the first time, humans had a real chance against the hegemony's superior technology. "We'll need time to prepare," Jack said. "Kate, can your teams keep Zoltan distracted?" Kate nodded grimly. "We've identified his personal shuttle. If we could capture or eliminate him." "Too risky," Jack said. "Focus on disrupting their chain of command." "Commander Chen, how soon can your ships deploy?" 3 days, she replied. "We've been collecting data on their fleet movements. We know their weak points." Across Earth, resistance fighters attacked hegemony supply lines and outposts. They used the electromagnetic disruptors with increasing skill. Alien soldiers began to fear patrols in human-controlled areas. In orbit, Zoltan's technicians finally cleared the virus from their systems. Communications were restored between ships, but the damage was done. Humans had seized key installations and destroyed vital equipment. "The planet killer is ready, Admiral," an officer reported. "Target their largest resistance base," Zoltan ordered. "Show these humans the price of defiance." The massive weapon began to charge. On screens around Earth, Resistance members watched in horror as energy built up in the flagship's main cannon. Then something unexpected happened. 3 small ships appeared from behind the moon. They were human-made but modified with alien technology from captured vessels. "This is Commander Chen of the Mars Defense Force," came a transmission on all frequencies. "Admiral Zoltan, power down your weapons or face the consequences." Laughter echoed across the Hegemony command deck. 3 tiny ships. Zoltan mocked. "This is your final defense." "Not exactly," Commander Chen replied. Behind her ships, hundreds of small objects launched toward the Hegemony fleet. They were simple metal rods, accelerated to incredible speeds. The first rod hit a Hegemony cruiser, punching through its hull like paper. More followed, ripping through alien ships that had never designed shields against such primitive kinetic weapons. On Earth, Jack watched the battle through telescopes and hacked alien feeds. "It's working," he whispered as Hegemony ships began to explode or retreat. A message came through from Allison. "Van Allen belt collectors are in position. We'll be ready when the Mars ships return." For the first time since the invasion, Jack allowed himself to smile. "The real fight is just beginning," he said. 6 months after the invasion began, Earth was a different planet. Cities lay in ruins. Hegemony mining operations scared the landscape, yet the human resistance grew stronger each day. Jack Russell crouched behind a fallen wall, watching the alien patrol pass by. His team waited silently in the shadows. Each carried one of Sam's electromagnetic disruptors, weapons that could drop an alien soldier instantly if you got close enough. "Remember the plan," Jack whispered when the patrol was gone. "We need that shuttle intact." The small alien craft sat on a landing pad nearby. It was their ticket to the orbital communication relay, where Eric's virus could be uploaded to cripple the Hegemony fleet. "Ready," Kate nodded, checking her weapon. Jack gave the signal, and the team moved forward. They had trained for weeks for this mission. The first alien guard didn't even see them coming. The second reached for his weapon, but fell as Kate's disruptor sent electromagnetic pulses through its nervous system. "Clear the ship," Jack ordered. Inside, they found what they feared. The shuttle needed an alien pilot. The controls were designed for 4 arms and looked impossibly complex. "Now what?" asked Pete, one of the younger resistance fighters. "Now we stick to Plan B," Jack said. He pulled out a secure radio. "Eagle, we need you." 20 minutes later, Lisa Vaughn arrived. Before the invasion, she had been a civilian pilot known for flying anything with wings. For the past 3 months, she had studied stolen Hegemony flight data provided by Eric. "You sure you can fly this thing?" Jack asked as they helped her into the shuttle. Lisa gave him a nervous smile. "Theoretically. The simulator Eric built seems close enough." "Theoretically isn't very reassuring," Kate muttered. "It's all we've got," Jack said. "Let's go." They boarded the shuttle, hiding as Lisa took the pilot's seat. She studied the controls, then tentatively placed her hands on what appeared to be the main interface. The ship hummed to life. "I think I'm getting the hang of it," she said as the shuttle wobbled into the air. "The balance is different, but the principles are similar." Jack gripped his seat as the shuttle lurched upward. "Just get us to that relay station." The shuttle broke through the clouds, and Earth fell away beneath them. Soon they could see the massive orbital station that coordinated all Hegemony communications in the solar system. "They're hailing us," Lisa said, looking at flashing symbols on the control panel. "Eric said they'd do that," Jack reminded her. "Just send the automatic response he programmed." Lisa pressed a sequence of buttons. After a tense moment, the flashing stopped. "I think it worked," she whispered. The shuttle docked with the station. Jack's team moved quickly, disruptors ready. 3 aliens fell before they could sound an alarm. But the 4th managed to trigger an alert. "We've got 5 minutes, tops," Jack shouted. "Get to the main control room." They fought their way through the station. 2 of their team fell to alien weapons. Jack took a hit to his arm, but kept moving. The central control room had a dozen aliens working at stations. The fight was brief but brutal. When it ended, only Jack, Kate, and 3 others remained standing. "Get the virus uploaded," Jack ordered, pressing a bandage to his wound. Pete plugged in the device Eric had prepared. Screens around them flickered as the virus invaded the hegemony network. "It's working," Kate said, watching the displays change. Just then, the station shook. Through the viewport, they saw a hegemony warship approaching. "Our ride's about to get shot down," Jack realized. "We need to leave now." They ran for the shuttle, but another blast rocked the station. Lysa was waiting at the controls. "Hang on," she called as they scrambled aboard. "This is going to be rough." The shuttle detached just as the warship fired again. Lysa pushed the engines beyond their limits, diving toward Earth as the station exploded behind them. On the planet below, Resistance fighters watched their communications devices come to life with a simple message: "Virus uploaded. Attack now." Across the globe, carefully planned assaults began. The confused hegemony forces, unable to communicate with each other, found themselves under attack from all sides. For the first time since the invasion, humans reclaimed major cities and military installations. In his flagship, Admiral Zoltan watched in disbelief as reports of defeats poured in from around the planet. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "They are just primitives." His lieutenant didn't answer. He was too busy trying to restart their failing systems. The massive hegemony warship entered Earth's atmosphere with a thunderous roar. It was 3 times larger than any ship humans had seen before. Its dark hull gleamed with weapons that could destroy entire cities. This was the flagship of Grand Admiral Zoltan, the most feared military commander in the hegemony. Commander Vexthor stood at attention as his superior stepped off the transport shuttle. Zoltan was taller than most of his kind, with battle scars visible on his gray skin and decorations covering his elaborate armor. "Explain to me," Zoltan said, his voice cold, "why a primitive world continues to resist after 3 months. The High Command is not pleased." Vexthor tried not to show his fear. "These humans are unusually stubborn, Admiral. But we have control of their major resources and—" "I did not ask for excuses," Zoltan interrupted. "I have crushed rebellions on 100 worlds. Earth will be no different." Within days, Zoltan's new strategy became clear. His ships positioned themselves above Earth's capitals and major military installations. Then, without warning, they fired. Jack Russell watched from a distance as Washington, D.C., a city he had once served proudly, disappeared in flames. The heat was so intense that it melted buildings instantly. Nothing could survive. "We need to move," Kate said, pulling him away from the horrifying sight. "They'll target other cities next." They barely made it to their hidden bunker before news came in. New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, all destroyed. Millions dead in minutes. "He's trying to break our spirit," Jack said to the shocked resistance members gathered around him. "Show that resistance means destruction." In her hidden lab, Allison worked frantically. The electromagnetic disruptors were effective against individual aliens, but useless against their ships. She needed something bigger. "The frequency needs to be amplified," she told Sam over their secure line. "If we could project it at higher power, we might disable entire ships." "I'll need bigger components," Sam replied. "Most factories are under their control now." "Find a way," Allison said. "Zoltan won't stop until we're all dead or enslaved." Eric Freeman had been in the same chair for 36 hours straight. His eyes were red from staring at screens filled with alien code. He had infiltrated deeper into their systems than ever before. Their ships used the same operating system. he muttered to himself. No redundancy, no separate security protocols. They never expected anyone to hack them. His fingers flew across the keyboard as he developed a virus that could disable hegemony ships from within. It was dangerous work. Twice, he nearly triggered alarms that would have revealed his presence in their network. Across what remained of Earth, hegemony forces began rounding up humans. They established processing centers where people were sorted. Those with useful skills were sent to work for the invaders. The rest went to labor camps to mine resources or farm food for the alien troops. In orbit, Admiral Zoltan surveyed a holographic map of Earth. Red dots marked areas of continued resistance. Their formal military is destroyed, his lieutenant reported. But small groups keep attacking our outposts. They're using some kind of electromagnetic weapon that affects our troops. Impossible, Zoltan said. Human technology is primitive. They're adapting, Admiral. Learning our weaknesses. Zoltan's forearms clenched into fists. Then we will crush them before they learn more. Prepare the planet harvester. The lieutenant looked alarmed. Sir, the High Command authorized occupation, not destruction. Earth has resources they want preserved. I will not be defied by primitives, Zoltan hissed. The harvester will target their resistant strongholds only. The High Command will understand once I deliver this planet. Pacified and obedient. What Zoltan didn't know was that his conversation was being recorded. Eric had managed to access the flagship's internal communications. Within hours, Jack and the resistance leaders knew about the planet harvester, a weapon capable of destroying entire regions. We need to move faster, Jack told his team. Whatever plans we had, whatever timeline, forget it. We either stop Zoltan now, or there won't be an Earth left to save. 3 months after the aliens arrived, Earth looked different. The hegemony ships hovered above major cities. Alien soldiers patrolled the streets. They had taken over military bases, power plants, and water treatment facilities. People kept their heads down and followed the new rules. Jack Russell no longer wore his uniform. He moved through the shadows of what used to be downtown Denver, now half destroyed from the initial invasion. His backpack contained food, water, and something much more valuable, plans for the nearby hegemony command post. He slipped into an abandoned subway station where 20 people waited. Former soldiers, police officers, and ordinary citizens who refused to surrender sat on crates and old chairs. Maps and weapons were spread across makeshift tables. "Did you get a count?" asked Kate Daniels. The former FBI agent had become Jack's most trusted ally in the resistance. 8 guards at the main entrance. "Maybe 20 inside," Jack said. "Their patrol patterns are predictable. They don't expect trouble." Kate nodded. "That's their problem. They think they've already won." Across the country, in a basement lab under a destroyed university, Allison Grant peered into a microscope. She had been studying hegemony biology from tissue samples collected during skirmishes. The alien on the table had been killed in a rare successful ambush last week. "Found something?" Sam Winters asked. Before the invasion, he had been CEO of a tech company. Now he used his factories to secretly build weapons. Allison looked up, excitement in her tired eyes. "Their nervous system is strange. It reacts strongly to specific electromagnetic frequencies. Look." She applied a small electrical device to the alien tissue. It convulsed violently. "It's like their whole system goes haywire with the right signal," she explained. "If we could build devices that emit this frequency." Sam picked up the device, examining it. "I could mass-produce these. Turn them into weapons, but we'd need to get close to use them." "Better than bullets," Allison said. "Their armor stops those." In what was once Seattle, Eric Freeman worked in a hidden room filled with computers. The former security specialist hadn't slept in days. He typed frantically, studying the alien code displayed on his screen. "They use standardized systems across their fleet," he muttered to himself. "Arrogant. Makes them vulnerable." A message appeared on his secure line. It was from Kate. Package secured. Courier en route. The package was a damaged alien communication device. With it, Eric might crack their entire network. Back in Denver, Jack led a small team through the sewers. Above them, the hegemony processed human captives. The strongest were sent to labor camps. The smartest were interrogated for technical knowledge. "Timer set," whispered Pedro, a former demolitions expert, as he placed explosives at the base of the building. "Remember," Jack said to his team, "this isn't just about destroying their outpost. We need to show people that resistance is possible." They retreated to safe distance and waited. When the explosion rocked the building, hegemony troops rushed out in confusion. For the first time, Jack saw fear in their alien eyes. In orbit, Commander Vexthor received reports of the attack. It was the third this week across the planet. "These humans are more troublesome than expected," he said to his lieutenant. "Should we request reinforcements?" The lieutenant asked. "No," Vexthor replied sharply. "I will not admit to the High Command that I cannot control a primitive planet. Increase punishments for disobedience. Make examples of captured resistance fighters." The lieutenant hesitated. "The humans don't respond to fear like other species. It seems to make them fight harder." Vexthor dismissed the concern. All species break eventually. Unknown to him, Allison's discovery was already being manufactured in hidden facilities across Earth. Sam Winters had converted his electronics factories to produce the electromagnetic disruptors. Through an underground network, Kate organized their distribution to resistance cells. In his computer lab, Eric finally broke through the hegemony security. "I'm in," he whispered in disbelief as alien data flowed across his screen. For the first time in months, he smiled. The hegemony believed humans were primitive and beaten. But in basements, sewers, and hidden rooms across the planet, humanity was preparing to prove them wrong. The sky above Houston turned an unusual shade of purple as the alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere. Jack Russell stepped out of NASA's command center, his eyes fixed on the strange objects descending through the clouds. After 15 years as a fighter pilot, and now 5 working for NASA's Defense Division, he thought he had seen everything. He was wrong. "They're not responding to any of our signals," said Allison Grant, who stood beside him. The astrobiologist had been called in from her lab when the first anomalies appeared on the deep space radar 3 days ago. "Maybe they don't understand our language," Jack said, his hand resting on his sidearm out of habit. Allison shook her head. "If they can travel between stars, they can figure out basic communication protocols. They're ignoring us on purpose." The first ship landed in the large field that NASA had cleared after detecting the approaching vessels. It was smooth and silver, with no visible windows or doors. A team of military personnel formed a perimeter around the landing zone, while government officials waited nervously behind them. "I don't like this," Jack whispered. A seam appeared in the side of the ship, opening silently to reveal a ramp. 3 tall figures emerged. They had gray skin that shimmered in the sunlight and 4 arms each. Their eyes were large and completely black. The alien in front wore ornate armor with symbols that seemed to glow. It raised one of its upper arms, and a small device projected a beam of light that formed into English words in the air. "I am Commander Vexthor of the Galactic Hegemony. Your world is now under our protection and control." The Secretary of Defense stepped forward. "We welcome peaceful contact with your civilization, but Earth is a sovereign planet. We are not under anyone's control." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Amusing. Your species has only recently mastered basic fusion energy and achieved minimal space travel. The hegemony has ruled 10,000 worlds for 50,000 of your years. Your resources and labor now belong to us." Jack felt his muscles tense. Around him, he could see soldiers tightening their grips on their weapons. Allison moved closer to him. "This isn't a first contact. It's an invasion." The president arrived by helicopter 30 minutes later. Talks were moved into a hastily prepared meeting room. Jack managed to get assigned to the security detail so he could observe. Vexthor displayed holograms of worlds the hegemony had uplifted through their control. Most appeared to be mining operations or agricultural planets with alien workers who looked thin and tired. Your world has abundant water, rare minerals, and a large labor pool, Vexthor explained. You will be treated fairly if you cooperate. Resistance is not advised. The president leaned forward. We need time to discuss these terms with our global leadership. Vexthor's black eyes showed no emotion. You have 24 hours to demonstrate our seriousness. He pressed a button on his wrist device. On the large screen in the room, satellite imagery showed a small military base on a Pacific island. A beam of light shot down from an orbiting ship, and the base vanished in a flash of energy. 300 of your soldiers, Vexthor said. A small demonstration. Defiance will result in greater losses. After the aliens returned to their ship, Jack found Allison in the hallway. They're going to take over the planet, she said, her voice shaking. Jack looked out the window where more alien ships were now visible in orbit. Maybe, but they're making one big mistake. What's that? They think we can't fight back. Jack's eyes narrowed. My grandfather used to tell me stories about World War II, about how people in occupied countries never stopped fighting. If these hegemony aliens think humans will just roll over, they don't understand who they're dealing with. Allison looked up at the ships. But their technology is so advanced. Technology isn't everything, Jack said. We're on our home turf. We're resourceful. And most importantly, he added with a grim smile, we're extremely stubborn when people try to push us around. 3 days later, the hegemony presented their final terms to the United Nations. When the Security Council asked for amendments, the aliens destroyed half of Manhattan as their answer. The invasion of Earth had officially begun.